What is up, everyone? It's your girl JJBEATS. I'm here with none other than.
Hi, I'm Jared Allen Clark, the voice of Tanner Hawkins for Artist Choice.
You know what's funny? When I first saw this dude in the server, I kept calling him JacStone.
Everyone else started calling me Jace too.
And I'm here.
He's like, "Hey, Jace, I got something to ask you." Like, oh, I'm Jace.
and every time, like, he thought I was doing it on purpose. I was just like, "Is that not your name?" I was just.
Oh wait, they actually think my name is Jace. Hold on, wait, hold on, what?
And then this was someone else too. Because I thought their name was basically a nickname for like a Pokemon. So unless I tagged them, I kept shortening it to the Pokemon name. They're like, that's not my name. They're like, that's not my name.
Oh wait a minute, I'm Jace. I'm talking about me.
I was like, wait, that's not you. So it was kind of funny. You're like, oh wait. Yeah,
and we'll reach out to Jace about like, oh, who's this Jace person I keep hearing about? Oh wait, that me.
So that was kind of funny. It's just like, oh wait, she's serious. So yeah, you were one of the few people who got it via casting call. What made you even apply via casting call?
Basically, why did I start auditioning for casting call, you mean?
For this role in particular.
For this role in particular, it was when I first started, and I was just throwing out as many auditions as I could. I auditioned for Silver Sterling. I didn't get it, of course, but I got reached out to through Casting Call Club saying, we didn't pick you for this role, but we'd like for you to come on and do some extras. I thought, okay, yeah, sweet. And they sent me a Discord link, and they started asking me to do some extra stuff. I would go through the script and see what extra stuff there was to do, and when they asked me to do one in particular, I would try to do my best for it.
I thought it was for Ty Hawkins that you applied for.
No, it was Silver Sterling. I can find the old recordings if you want to.
Hey, go ahead, find it, because I was just like, I'm pretty sure he made for a good Ty, because I remember that we were talking about it. I was just like, and then we're like, I was just like, I don't know. I was just like, I want him in the server, but I don't know if he's if this is it just yet, because something about it was just like, I feel like there's something there, but at the same time, it's like we're just holding off at the moment. So that's why I was just like, I don't know. That's why I was just like, if you had the recordings, that would be nice to hear, because I don't remember.
Oh, I gotta go through my Casting Call Club and see all my submissions. It was one of my first submissions, so it should not be hard to find. Oh, I gotta go to page 2 for this. Oh, here we go. Yep. Aria's Choice V and Pro Tome Jam Silver Sterling on May 4th of 24. Was there another one? Nope. That's my only audition for Aria's Choice.
And we didn't even have a photo for him, which I do actually have the old concept of Silver, which I was looking at, which no one actually has seen, because I haven't talked to the voice actor for that one. But the very first concept of Silver was quite different from the Silver we got now, to be honest.
Oh yeah, it really was.
I did plan on using him in some other form. I was thinking of having him as like a brother or cousin type of situation, but it's just like, mind you, I didn't have a problem with the design. The problem was that the OG Silver was that it literally just got lost in development because of being rushed, essentially. That we thought there wasn't enough time, so the two people ended up working on the same character. And so I was just like, oh, okay, well, we have this character done. And we're like, wait, I already worked on this character. I was like, oh. Like, I was just like, but was like, but
Yeah, I
the
remember
other
that one.
Yeah, I was like, but the other one. And I mean, I just went with the other one because I was like, I like bangs. I was just like, but I like bangs.
I will say, I love this design for sure,
Yeah.
but the one that we got in game feels like you can relate to him a lot more when he begins to open up later in his route. I feel like I could not relate to this guy here, and he would be over my head the entire time.
Yeah. With this one, he really does give the shoujo vibe, I guess.
A little bit.
But honestly, I just like the bangs.
They are nice bangs. It's very
like-
anime bangs.
Like this one, like the ones we have, the mullet daddy, essentially, I guess. Oh my god, the silver we have now. I was just like, he doesn't have the bangs that the other silver has. So I opted for the other silver. So, but yeah, your character, Tanner, you want to talk about how you got Tanner? This is, by the way, I guess we'll talk about Tanner's development because Tanner is quite the fun. So Tanner is essentially the twin of Ty, and literally how Tanner became was like, we're like, what about Ty but brunette? And we're like, we like both. Can we have both?
What if Golden Retriever was Chocolate Lab?
Exactly. We literally said, we're like, can we have an edgy version? Because we're like, we want both.
Edgy Retriever.
we were really like, we want ourselves an edgy boy and a sweetheart. we're like, let's just give him a scar to give him edgy.
I love that you say that because when I was peppering out auditions, one of them being Artist Choice, the other one I auditioned for was something called Edgy Pink Vengeance. I got it, and then the project went nowhere.
That's so funny. So yeah, Tanner was just so I ended up just like loving the twins so much because we're just like, yeah, let's have the boy. Like they were so like so last minute. Like it's funny because they ended up being like the first ones made, but they were so last minute. Like their whole development cycle, like especially like getting the voices for them, because you're actually the second person, like the first voice actor, just kind of like missing.
Yeah, it was. So the story there was I was only brought on to do extras, and Rolando, the voice director, messaged me in the middle of the night. This was maybe an hour before I was going to go to bed, and he said, "Hey, the VA for Ethan didn't send in any of his lines. Can you cover for Ethan?" I thought, Ethan? Isn't he one of the main characters? How short notice do you need this? I need this like as soon as you can get it to me, buddy. Oh, no, I gotta do all of Ethan as soon as... Okay, well, here we go. And I open up the scripts and he comes back to me and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I meant Tanner. Don't worry. Tanner doesn't have nearly as much lines as Ethan. As many lines as Ethan." Thought, oh, okay. That is so much more manageable in the time frame you're asking this for. Sure. So I was going to take a couple of samples of... I basically asked, what do you want from this guy? I picture serious, straightforward, strong tone, at least at first. He said, "Yep, great, go with that." I recorded for Damien's route, sent in a snippet of it, asking him, is this what you want, basically. He didn't get back to me very fast, so I just kind of sat there and recorded everything, like all of Tanner's everything in one sitting for all routes, and sent them to him before he could give me feedback on what he wanted. And he came back to me and said, "Congratulations, you are now Tanner Hawkins." Like, okay, I guess he liked it. Let's go. Yeah, baby.
This was your first main lead?
Yeah, this is my first. Well, I believe this is my first bigger project, but I think this was my third in all, at least in chronological release. My first one was Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, which is a Lego stop motion, but that was a very short, like 4-minute short film. And that was probably the first time I ever had a character with a physical form. This here, as Tanner Hawkins, is my first bigger anything.
So, as you can see, there's one with Tanner having like the same hairstyle as Ty, one with him different hairstyle, but like the the sweater, and then him with the jacket. Which one do you like the best?
So the one with the jacket is the one with the white hoodie,
Yeah.
white sleeveless hoodie. I like the white sleeveless hoodie with the black long sleeve shirt for Tanner specifically, because the tank top feels more like Ty's style, and if they were both wearing a tank top, it'd be a little too on the nose, I think.
Gym bros. Like,
they're a little too similar. It's a Mario and Luigi palette swap, but Luigi doesn't have his distinct personality yet.
what about the scar, the tattoo?
Scar and the tattoo. The tattoo, I think, does fit Tanner's personality and distinguish him more from Ty. The scar, it makes a lot more sense once you get to learn more about Ty and Tanner.
But the backstory!
The backstory! The lore!
Only the backstory that we know, because we still haven't put it out there, but the backstory.
It's in Layla's route.
Yeah, but
very briefly.
Very briefly, I'm talking about like the context that we only know that because we literally like wrote about it like a month or two ago. But I'm talking about like the origin story, essentially. Like, I'm Batman.
Dude, sorry, the audio cut out really badly there. Did you repeat what you said?
I said Tanner's origin story of him being I'm Batman. Essentially. I'm Batman.
Heck yeah!
Yeah. like what do you think with the scar?
I think it fits him, honestly. I like that it's not overly exaggerated. It's there, and it's definitely a defining feature. Your eyes are drawn to it, but it doesn't overtake his entire image.
Like, I know I wanted originally, I was thinking like, should we have it in the middle or on the side? Do you think it would have made more sense to the middle, or like?
No, I think where it is exactly where it should be.
Okay, because I was also thinking it like having it like the Lion King, the scar.
Yes.
Like low-key, like having it like that is like, Mufasa, why?
Yeah. If it was over the nose or over the eye, I think it'd be a little too prominent for the image, personally.
Yeah, cause I mean, at first I thought it was gonna be more like Ty would have like a band-aid and Tanner would have like the scar on the nose, and then the artist decided to put it on the cheek. I was like, I'm fine with that change. So
cheek makes sense. If I imagine the situation that caused it, yeah, cheek makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, when we wrote the situation down, it makes sense too. But I think like the original situation I was gonna have it was more of like the sports incident, but because we changed it, it makes more sense of how it happened now. So
I mean, even in soccer, it does make sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
A missed kick straight to the cheek.
Yeah.
Just shy of the chin. Totally could do that.
It was a spiky soccer ball, just like.
Or a spiky soccer ball. It was filled with razor blades.
It was the Mario soccer ball. Mario Strikers.
Just obliterates his chest with a fiery soccer ball.
Imagine.
Sleeves gone, chest gone, life taken, cheek scarred.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So Ty has a wolf tattoo and Tanner has a dragon tattoo. Do you think it should have been reversed, or like, why do you think the dragon fits Tanner?
So, for the dragon,
yeah,
I can picture Tanner being into Japanese culture without fully understanding Japanese culture and think Japanese, like, I like this Eastern style of dragon, let's get a dragon tattoo, without fully understanding the origin of it. I think it totally makes sense for Tanner to do that. And Ty being the golden retriever that he is, I think some sort of a Canis familiaris cousin, it really makes sense.
Look at those big words you're using.
Well,
okay. Do you want to know why I decided the wolf and the dragon?
Please,
So, okay. So, when it came to the trio, so Layla has the scars that resemble a tiger.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking of like, you have usually in like mythological, or it's like the tiger, the wolf, and the dragon. So I was just like, since Ty's like the golden retriever, the wolf makes sense. And then my friend and I kept talking about Yakuza like a dragon. So I was like, you know what? Let's give him a dragon tattoo. We're like, he's gonna be part of Yakuza. Like,
Honestly, that makes so much sense for Tanner.
like I was just like, if he ever goes to Japan, he's gonna be mistaken for the Yakuza.
I can totally see Tanner doing that.
Which is like, he was also supposed to have earrings, but like we literally forgot about them earrings. Like, so I was like, oh dang, we gotta take away those earrings because his sprites does not have any earrings. But it was supposed to be like one of those things where he was just supposed to resemble such a Yakuza member. And
I think earrings would have been a little too far.
he was just supposed to give up straight up Yakuza vibes, especially like with his mannerisms. I don't know if like his mannerisms at first takes it, but like with the way he speaks and whatnot, like basically like everyone else is so nice to Arya, like he doesn't really even care. He's just like, what you want? Like everyone says like, oh my goodness, it's Arya, like the main character, and Tan's just like, Layla. I only care about Layla. Who's everyone else?
Layla. I want Layla.
Layla. Give me Layla.
Who's Arya? Layla.
Arya who?
Layla is the prize. Give me Layla.
Layla.
Where's Layla? Are you Layla? I don't care. Where's Layla? Layla. Are you Layla? No.
No.
Are you Layla? No. Where's Layla? What a vodka.
Donde estás, Layla? He just learns. He learns other languages just to know who Layla. Where's Layla? Oh, that's so funny. It's just like in Japan. That's like the only voice thing in Japanese. Like,
I can totally see Tanner and Ty. Like Ty is that tourist who's trying really hard to communicate what he wants, but doing it in English. But he's getting louder and slower, trying to make you understand. And Tanner is trying really hard to use very basic tourist Japanese, but doing it very incorrectly.
Yeah, he would say the thing that would make it sound like a threat.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man.
Oh my.
Oh my
Oh, no. He would use Kimi. He would use Kimi, which is you do not address people with Kimi in public.
Why don't you use Kimi?
Kimi is it's a I'm trying to find the right word. It's a noun used to describe someone who is very, very precious to you. You can use Kimi for like a lover or a younger sibling. You do not use it for your superiors or your social equals at all.
No, he would be using both in the same sentence, and they're like, "What does this even mean?" No, but it's like,
what do you want?
Oh my god, Layla.
Kimi no omae no natte no. It's like your. Kimi no omae o no natte no. Toire wa doko desu ka? Where's your toilet?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm guessing. Is Ty your favorite character? Because you applied for silver. Yeah, because you applied for silver.
Ty, I would say Ty is not my favorite character.
It's not your favorite character?
Ty is not. I like Ty, but he's not my favorite.
Who's your favorite in the game?
Oh, jeez. If I'm gonna pick a favorite... see, Damien's great, Ethan's great. I love Tanner. Let's see. I really like the entire cast for different reasons. Separate reasons. If I'm going to pick one that is my favorite, I would say Tanner, because of his unique role in being a supporting character through every story and never the central focus, which is a role that not many characters can do well, but I think he's written very well for it.
I literally asked you what's your favorite character. It's not Tanner. What's my favorite
You
character?
said Ty. You asked me if Ty was my favorite character. I was like, no, Ty. Ty's not my favorite character.
Oh, my bad. I was just like...
I kept asking, it's like, you're saying Ty, right? Ty? Yeah, Ty, that guy?
I was just like, I was like, did I not ask you? Is the character you voice your favorite character?
I definitely spent the most time with Tanner, and for that reason, I think Tanner is, well, that's partly the reason why Tanner is my favorite, as well as the very unique role that he affords. But to delve deep into it, I really actually do like Ethan, because I identify a lot with Ethan now as an adult, whereas I identified more with Tanner as a high school, young college-age kid.
With the whole bro talk, like, yo, bro, how's it go, bro?
I actually was that kid in high school.
Yeah, that is so funny.
Hey, bruh.
Because a lot of the girls did not understand their talk. And I guess it's because I hung out with guys. I'm like, that's literally how they talk when
that is how upper high school and lower college kids talk. How men talk to boys. How boys talk to each other.
Yeah, I was like, that is literally how they talk to each other. I was like, and if they're like, if there was more of them talking to, you would have had so much of that bro moment. It's like, bro, what's even up? Like, bro, that's not even funny, bro. Like, bro, like, and they're like, well, why they talk like that? I was just like, that is literally how guys talk. I'm like,
how they talk.
Especially in college, like, it was just so funny because they're like, why is all the other guys sound like, you know, young adults, and then you have these two college boys sounding like little kids? I'm like,
they haven't hit that maturity phase yet.
Yeah,
they get that like then.
Because like they are like mature in the sense like they could do their academics and stuff, but they still like act like they want to have fun and whatnot. So it was just so funny that like the girls couldn't grasp it when they were playing it. They're like, huh? So why did
sucks?
Wait, what? Yeah.
The target demographic being, I believe, women, as this was originally submitted for a Tome Gem.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. You can kind of tell what kind of people other people grew up with based on what they do and don't understand about cultural speak or just how people interact with each other. Because it clearly haven't interacted with a lot of high school boys or had close high school boyfriends, because high school boys will act a certain way if they don't know you and act a very different way if they are familiar with you.
Yeah, I guess like because you actually play this game a lot, and you know this is targeted towards women, but you said you really enjoyed this game. Why did you enjoy this game even though it was targeted towards women?
So, I don't play a lot of visual novels, but in playing this one, I enjoyed this one a lot because I was actually able to observe the production of it and see it built from, not from the ground up, because I came on a little bit after things had been kicked off because I was brought on to do voice roles, but I got to see a lot of development in this. They say don't look at how the sausage is made, but I actually like that. Like, they say don't look at how certain special effects are pulled off or how games are made because it ruins the magic of it. I love that because there's a certain depth of appreciation you gain for it when you learn what kind of love and effort went behind something so simple. So in seeing this game be developed, I got to see a lot of rough drafts, old artwork, old pitched ideas, and how they evolved into what we see in the game. And in knowing that, it enriched my appreciation for what the final product turned out to be. and seeing that from a whole different light, I got to enjoy this a lot more. Had I come into this blind, like I was just a consumer who had no involvement with the project, I would view this game very differently, I think.
Mhm. I guess I can see your point, but since you do know more of the development aspect and you played the game, do you think like when you play the game, it's more like a funny or it's more like a realistic approach, and that's why you're able to enjoy it?
Could you expand upon that? I don't think I understood your question.
Like, is this a game you think you could play on repeat, not just because you could hear your voice, but it's because it's like relatable? Like, you know how you're saying like the boys are like, they really act like they're boys, like they're college students, like, and so like you're like, understand them. So like, do you feel like every character gives you that sense of reality compared to like other type of visual novels or games in this genre?
So that is a thing that a lot of graphic novels do, is that their dialogue doesn't feel organic. It feels very staged, and it comes across as ingenuine because they're trying to make it flow a certain way. But the conversations in Arya's Choice do feel like natural conversations you would hear on a college campus, for the most part. But this game is serious when it needs to be serious, and silly when it needs to be silly. And it doesn't let them overlap at inappropriate times. I love it for that. Like, am I allowed to talk about certain events from the game?
Oh yeah. This is, you could do spoilers or whatever, since this is like
okay.
after.
So Ty's route, when you pick the something else option and Layla throws Tanner into Ty, that's when it switches from serious to silly, but not at an inappropriate way. So, or when Damien is relaying his backstory to the lore to Arya, there's a very serious undertone there that I feel like a lot of people can identify with. Same for Arya's trauma with her past love, Tanner and Ty's very life or death situation is, I'm sure, relatable to some people, not all, but that's at least something unique to them that none of the other members of the cast have. Or Michelangelo's deep passion for art. That's very relatable. For me, Ethan is very relatable because I went to college for engineering and computer technology, so I understand a lot of his lingo and a lot of his thought processes, even if they are made very basic to understand. When Layla is talking in binary a little bit, I actually understood some of that, and that was fun. But every character has something that relates to somebody. Everyone can find something here, and some people can find some comfort in that. Like Silver, for me, I related a lot with Silver's backstory, in such that my situation was very similar to his, and I took comfort in knowing that I'm not alone in feeling the things that I feel regarding that. So I got a lot of Silver's route, which I really didn't expect to get. I was just doing his route for the completion's sake.
Oh my god, I didn't really expect people to like the Silver route or the Michelangelo route, to be honest, because those had the least amount of time to develop. And I was surprised to see the amount of people who like the Silver route. Michelangelo route, I still understand people not really liking, because Michelangelo feels like a side character, but the person who voiced the Michelangelo route still liked it regardless, because he's like, yeah, I appreciate being the side character in my own story, but which is kind of funny. He's like, yeah, I'm okay with being the side character in my story. I was just like, I think you want to be the main character, but I mean, to each their own.
How does it feel, man?
But in the Silver route, you know, like, I know Mew is like, she said she's a Silver simp. I was just like, I just find that hilarious, because I was just like, I thought we were trying to make him hateable. It's like, I don't know, but I still love him.
You still love him.
Like, I was just like, I was trying to give him trauma, but Kumar didn't let me.
Oh. It was, I thought he was going, I figured on the onset he was going to start as unlikable, a really douchey dude.
Mm-hmm.
But when he began to open up, especially after karaoke, he opened up in a way that made me think, yeah, okay, there's the 2 dimension they were waiting to pull on me. I like that. Let's see how far this rabbit hole goes. I'm in it for the long haul now. I want to see how this evolves.
Karaoke. The way you said that, I really like the way you said that. Karaoke.
Sorry.
No.
Karaoke.
It was literally, because he was based. I don't know if you ever seen The Life of Seki K.
I have not.
He is based on this one character who is over the top rich. He's like, my personality is rich. I have money. That's it. I was like, okay. So I took that and I was just like, he in the silver route, he literally has a vault of money. He's like, do as you will with this money. If money so-called doesn't give you, if the world is my oyster, I shall take it, right? And then like in the restaurant scene, he's like, you guys can have the rest of the food we don't eat. He just does stuff, but it's like at the same time, is it really like he's doing a negative or a positive? So it's just like, I don't know, it's like, is he really selfish or is he just like, it's
you
like
can do
what you think?
the good things for the wrong reasons, though.
Exactly.
You can do a good deed with selfish intentions, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's why people were so interested in his character.
Because it's kind of ambiguous until you know more about him.
Yeah. So I think it's also with the Ethan route, he's also developed even more, especially when you hear him and Ethan's backstory, which is insane. I don't know if you remember the backstory, but when Ethan explains it, I'm like, Silver, you're kind of extra for that. Like, I was just like, this is kind of crazy. But like, y'all do you. I guess boys are built a little different. Like, do you remember their backstory at all?
Gosh, I haven't played Ethan's route in a good while. I've forgotten a lot of the details, sadly.
Okay, essentially, Silver let Ethan get bullied so that Ethan learned to stand up for himself.
Yeah, that's right. I remember now. I remember now.
You're so extra for that. I was like, what the turd? And then they became best friends. I was like, what the turd? That had me cracking up. Like, I'm like, am I supposed to root for them or what? Because like, I'm Arya in that situation, but I'm also cracking up. I'm like, what? Like, you're here laughing. It's just like, yeah, this is what boys do.
This is what boys do.
For the
boys are the man.
Like, that's what
no pain, no gain, bro.
Which is so funny because since I grew up in like a dynamic where I had I grew up with a brother for one, so like I always knew more of the tough love than like the more relaxed type of mindset. So like I gave Arya the reaction of like how other girls would probably react, but like I understood the more nuances to certain type of situations. So like with the whole Ethan and Silver dynamic, it's kind of like how let the boys fight it out. Like sometimes the boys just fight it out and then they forgive each other the next day. It's just like, they just gotta let the fight out of them.
Let the fight out and they're bros the next minute.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, we'll be friends the next day. It's like, oh yeah, we're all good.
The best friendships start through adversity, for sure.
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't see that, but okay. Well, but it was just kind of funny. It's just like, and we're best friends till this day.
Till this day. It's only funny because of how it turned out.
Yeah.
You have to look back on it now and it's funny.
Yeah, it's just like, this is kind of a red flag, but okay. It's kind of very weird. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's beautiful.
What is like the funniest thing you remember from Arya's Choice?
Oh, the funniest thing in game. I think it was picking the something else in Ty's route and hearing what take of my yelling was used in that. Because I gave way too many takes of a yell that I would do when Tanner gets thrown into Ty. And I was like, wait a minute, use that one? That was the warm-up take, hold on. Like, no! But it was good. That gave me a really good laugh. The funniest parts about it is hearing which of my takes get used in-game. From a production standpoint, it's like, oh, they use that one? Okay. And someone's like, yeah, that was my favorite one! But from the game standpoint, outside of production, funniest moment. Maybe the chef in Damien's route, because
my goodness.
It's just, that's not at all what I expected to hear when the chef.
No, because I was right there with the programmer Kumar, and he wants to do the shrimp catch.
Who wants to do the shrimp catch?
I'm like, what the term? He's like, and he's just chuckling. He keeps repeating it. I'm like, can you stop repeating? I'm like, can you stop repeating it? I just keep hearing he wants to do the shrimp catch, and he keeps trying to find the best point, and he keeps chuckling. I'm like, can you stop it? Like, because the thing is, he kept repeating it over and over again. I was like, stop! I was so frustrated because we kept doing stuff hours at end towards the later part of releasing the game.
Yeah.
And so I just kept hearing he wants to do the shrimp catch. I was like, oh my goodness.
He wants to do the shrimp catch. I had to stop auto advance to just take a second to lean over and just kind of stifle a laugh. Then I'll click next. He's like, "Hey, big guy."
Hey, big guy.
Actually, lady. Like,
oh wait, aren't you also the bad guy too in that same scene?
I'm the chef. Then I heard my voice sped up for the chef and thought, that's freaking funny. Then I heard myself normally as the hibachi gunman. I love this scene so much because it's so dumb. It's like, do I laugh at this or do I take this seriously? Then he pulls out the gun. Oh, I take this seriously.
Like, who wants to do? Pull out the gun.
But when I saw the fight between Damien and the gunman, I was hoping that someone would come back to me and ask me to do some grunts or some exclamations for it. It's like, okay, I guess it's just gonna sound like a barroom brawl with no voice.
No, we ain't have the time for that. Listen, we volunteer. We ain't no AAA budget right now.
No, I understand. It's just I'm not gonna press for it, but I'm hoping they'll come back and ask for it.
One day, maybe one day we can do it. One day.
Version 2.
Listen, when we remake the whole game one day, maybe.
2035, when we're all old.
Oh.
Into retirement, Arya still hasn't chosen a love, and is still searching for the answer of the triangle theory of love.
Oh my goodness. Back in my day, Arya's Choice was a cult classic that kept getting a 5-star review.
Back in my day, in the post-irony area, we had a game called Arya's Choice. It was not very well received. In fact, it was made fun of quite a lot. But in hindsight, it's a testament of a testament to the passion of unpaid volunteer work.
I'm like, how you start off so negative and then like, oh, okay, at the end you give it like a 5-star.
Yeah, absolutely. In the post-irony area, everything is 5-star.
Yeah. Cause you didn't know much about Silver when you voiced or did the casting call. Why did you cast call for him?
So when I looked at the page,
Yeah.
if I remember this correctly, there was only Silver and Michelangelo.
Yeah.
And I saw Michelangelo was calling for Latin American. I thought, I can't do a Latin American accent. Not yet. I will audition for Silver, and I will move on to the next project and start auditioning elsewhere. And I think the third one, I think that there was a third audition slot that was just singing. I think it was the chorus of
You Are My Sunshine.
You Are My Sunshine. And I put in something for that. But it was the silver audition that got me in the door. Then, if I may, when I was playing the game, I played the game, and we're okay to talk about spoilers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was playing Silver's route, and after karaoke, Silver opened up about losing his mom to cancer, and I thought, oh, the emotion I could have put behind that. Because what got me into auditioning in the first place is it okay if I talk about this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. My mom was battling ovarian cancer for 6 years, and she unfortunately passed away in April of 24. But one of the last conversations we had was, if you weren't studying for engineering, what would you like to do? And I said, I'd like to try for voice acting, because I like to do a lot of voices when I was with her. When we were playing games that were unvoiced, I'd just make up something and go along with it. And she said, that sounds great. I think you'd be great for it. I think you have great range. I disagreed with her. I don't think I have great range at all. But it was about a month after she passed. I thought, I need something to get my mind off this. Let's find an outlet. We talked about voice acting. What if I just tried it? And that's when I started peppering out auditions in early May. And yeah, May 4th is when I sent in that audition for Sterling Silver. Then about 9 months later, I got to play the demo of the game, and we got to Silver talking about how he lost his mom from cancer. Like, oh, the power I could have put behind that.
I did not know that at the time when I wrote that. I was just thinking about trauma. I was just like, his grandparents died in a car accident. His real mom died. He got an abusive stepmom. I was just thinking about everything I've seen in like K-dramas. And Kumar's like, we can't have too much trauma. I was like, okay, then just say his mom died from cancer.
That made me really relate to Silver as a character, because he got emotional over a song that he and his mom used to enjoy, which is something that I did. Still They Ride by Journey is a song very special to my parents, and now is special to me. So we played it when we laid my mom to rest. And every time I hear Still They Ride by Journey, I get emotional and I tear up, just like Silver. I can totally relate to that phenomenon. It's not uncommon. It's not unrealistic. It totally happens.
Did your dad happen to do you play Artist Choice yet?
Not yet. Once this interview comes out, I'm probably gonna have yet another nail to kind of drive in and like, hey, got a game for you, Dad. You want to play an Atome Jam game? You know what Atome is, right? You like chick flicks? This is like a chick flick that you can play.
That's just so hilarious.
But he's watched White Chicks with me, so I mean.
Speaking of White Chicks, no, we're not talking about that right now.
Speaking of White Chicks.
No, but you know how I always talk to you about the whole Tanner, the name of why we called him Tanner.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I gotta get my.
Look at him, then look at me. There's your answer.
Like, what is your thoughts on that? It's just like, are you serious?
If Tanner was a nickname, it would make a lot more sense. But as a birth name, it's just serendipitous.
Like,
the thing about it is,
like his parents named him Tanner. Like
his parents named him Tanner, knowing he would be Tanner. But the thing that I hate about that is that I actually have a form of color blindness, so I couldn't tell that they were a different shade until I read that line. I thought, oh, wait a minute, he actually is kind of Tanner at the time. I saw that promotional image where they're standing side by side, like, oh yeah, wait a minute, he is a little darker than Tanner. No way!
Oh my goodness. You're like, I couldn't
very
tell.
slow.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. He couldn't even tell.
I can't even tell until I read the line. Wait a minute. Is he? He is!
But the fact that his parents just named him Tanner is just like, are you serious? But that's kind of funny itself. It's just like, wait, that's why you named me Tanner. Not because you like the name Tanner, but because I'm Tanner than my brother.
Tanner straight out the womb.
I mean, just like
Fresh off the press.
it's just like they have two kids. They're like, let me see, you have a bit more melanin than the other one.
Look, I have decided that I will name him Tanner. Comes out whiter than a banana. Oh, we can't have that. You just gotta take him to the beach every other day.
Let's see, this one we're gonna name Ty because your dad's wearing a tie.
Tyler Ty Hawkins. The quotation marks because it's a nickname. Tanner's not a nickname, as you can clearly see by the concept of
It's just like, it's like, wait a minute, there's not even a nickname to it.
As you can see here on my birth certificate, it clearly says Tanner Hawkins.
Oh my goodness, they're just like, wait, what kind of child? It's like, it's not the name that's the problem, it's the fact that it's because he's just a slightly different shade from his brother.
Just ever so edgier skin tone, that's still white. Still Caucasian.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't know Italian, but who says they're not mixed? They could be quarter black. You never know.
You never know. You never know with these.
You never know. They could have a little bit of
I ain't saying no.
Exactly. They could have something else inside them. Oh my goodness, man. I have a can you relate with Tanner aside from his bro talk?
Relate with Tanner?
Yeah.
So yes, for a lot of reasons. As a high schooler, I did have this fixation on this one girl in high school, and it became such an obsession that it was more like I was going after a prize with the end goal of I have obtained the prize without any forethought of what would happen after. Happily ever after that, once I achieved the goal of getting this girl to like me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So became an unhealthy fixation. Not to say that his fixation with Layla is unhealthy, but I went beyond that. And looking back on it now, yeah, I can tell that was extremely immature and unhealthy. I can see it in that way. But that's actually just so common for high school boys. I know Tanner's in college, but it's after high school I look back and was like, ooh, yeah, what was I thinking? But for Tanner, it's his aesthetic. I like the aesthetic. Short brown, dark hair, dark color palette with his clothing, rock and roll and metal being his themes. He had 2 themes that were unused for the game. Is that correct?
Yeah. I might use it somewhere else.
Maybe! I'd like to see it. Because I like rock and metal. They're my favorite genres of music.
Mm-hmm.
That I use Tanner #1 as my ringtone, and I use Tanner #2 as my dad's ringtone. So if I hear Tanner 2, I know it's my dad. If I hear Tanner 1, it's anybody else. They didn't get used in games, so I gotta enjoy them somewhere, right?
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. You could be like, hey, this is where it's from.
This is where it's from. Because it was Fodlan Wind from Fire Emblem 3 Houses for the longest time. So it took a lot for me to switch from this one ringtone used for 5 years to this one. but I'm happy with the change because if any phone rings in the room, I know that it's mine because no one else has this.
It's a unique sound.
Yeah, that's Jared's phone.
And if your friends ever says like it's from Ari's Choice, which you could download on itch.io for free.
So there's this game called Ari's Choice. You should totally play it, man. It's like so up your alley.
Do you think Tanner loves Lila or is in love with Lila? Like, you think like it's just a prize type of thing, or like he really wants to be with Layla?
That is a very, very good question, because I can totally see the argument that he's in love with the idea of being in love with Layla, as in Layla is an object, or loving Layla as Layla is a person and wanting to spend his life with this woman he loves. If this were high school, I would definitely lean towards the former, as in it's the goal of the matter. In college, it can swing either way. Into adulthood, it's more likely going to be the latter. So that's kind of ambiguous for a while. I think it starts with, an example. Have you seen iCarly?
I have.
You remember the episode when Freddy saves Sam's life from the truck?
It's Carly's life.
Carly's life. I'm sorry. It's a very long time. Gosh, I'm getting older. But it was Freddy was described as just bacon. That was the analogy, was he's just bacon. Carly only likes Carly only likes Freddy because Freddy saved her life, not because he's Freddy. And
which she kind of did prove until like the reboot, essentially, I think.
True, but for the sake of the episode, it was more the idea of Freddy than Freddy himself. And I think that's how Tanner and Layla meeting in the lore was how it could have started. Then it could have evolved into something more. I feel like that's never explicitly stated, but based on how Ty's route ended, where Tanner does get with Layla, given what he says, I believe him. I'm curious how long it will last, because there is a life that goes on for these characters outside the game. Their life doesn't just stop and cut to the void at the end of the game. So it could swing either way after the events of Ari's Choice, really. That has yet to be written.
Let's say it is in the works. Let's say 5 years from now, things happen, right? Do you think, let's say Layla ended up with one of the twins. Do you think it would be the type of dynamic where, okay, you know what's crazy, honestly, before we even get into that conversation, because this is actually gonna be crazy. Honestly, a lot of the people ship Layla with any of the guys, to be honest. Like, every conversation.
Really?
Yes, that's, I don't know. Somehow I made Layla that desirable. Like, I thought it was a inside joke where it, like, I just thought it, but like everyone's like, because I talked to the voice actor for Damien, and he's like, I kind of ship Layla with Damien because like Layla's like the Amazon woman, and like Damien's like into the, you know, like secret services and whatnot, so like she's like the perfect girl for her. And then Michelangelo's like, I need someone who's like kind of outgoing and whatnot, bubbly, to get him out of the comfort zone, which is Layla or Serenity. But like Layla could kind of like really push it, literally take him out and move him out to make him go out to places, right? And so like and then there's like the dynamic people like with Silver being a himbo when it came to him chasing over Layla. So many people actually like Layla with any of the guys. So like I thought I had a clear-cut answer when it came to who she could end up with, but then I'm like, dang, I literally don't know at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Neither did I. I was just like, wow.
Because out of any of the girls in the game, I'm the most attracted to Layla myself. I could get into that. That's a whole different rabbit hole.
Oh my goodness, everyone just loves Layla.
Okay. So here's where I can really identify with Tanner. I like Layla. Let me explain. So my biggest non-physical attractor is voice.
I knew it. I'm not gonna lie, that's the reason why I picked the voice.
Exactly. I like low, smooth, and soothing. Think Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. She plays Kuruna Yuhi in Naruto, female voice in Dragon's Dogma, Alex Wesker in Resident Evil, Julia from Cowboy Bebop. Probably a lot of people know Julia from Cowboy Bebop.
My brother does.
She has a voice that's an example of one that I greatly enjoy. So Maganda Marie's performance as Layla is just perfect for the character for me. So I really like the voice work for her. And I like that. How do I put this exactly? Have you ever read The Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson?
I have not. You know what's funny? Before you continue, I was one of the like big writers in this. I don't even really read a lot. So like that was one of the craziest things, that I was like one of the like big writers and stuff, and like figuring out storytelling. Like even though I don't really consume media, like I consume a lot of movies, but not visuals. Not
Right.
Yeah, so that was one of the ironies and all that. But a lot of people really like the way I tell a story because it's realistic.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you were saying?
Oh, sorry. The Yasuno Kolin is a character from Stormlight Archive where she is perfectly capable and in a lot of ways kind of offensive to the men in the story because she acts in ways that are considered not feminine, but she's completely feminine in the way that she does it. She doesn't renounce her femininity to do typically masculine things. She just does them while being a woman doing them.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that from Layla, as in when she just talks about how the boys probably just see her as just one of the guys. It's like, I love that about you. You don't act overly girly. You don't try to segregate yourself because you're a girl. You're just a person. You act like a person, and you don't seem to care about male or female labeling when it comes to social interactions. And I find that so refreshing. Because it's just some people act a certain way around guys and a certain way around girls, and Layla's just the same with everybody, and I love that about her. It makes her so open and approachable, I think. But again, rock and roll, love it. Metal, love it. I love the aesthetic. I'm attracted to the 90s girl aesthetic, which she's not, but she's not trying to be overly sexual in how she presents herself. She's not completely modest, but she's not putting herself out.
Well, I think it's because, well, first of all, she had two different looks. Right. She had the more edgy look, yes, and then she had the more toned down look. So like you saw her like darker look, right? Where she had,
yeah, and the one that's used in game for Artist Choice is definitely my favorite of the two. For myself, it's a personal preference. I prefer the one in game over the other one.
So, and then she had the original where she was more of the anime looking look. Anime looking look. Okay.
Anime looking look.
Anime looking look.
Anime aesthetic.
Aesthetic. Anywho.
Aesthetic.
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 We're not gonna do that. I said we're not gonna keep doing that.
Sorry.
No. I was just because we're gonna keep going into a loop. But what I was trying to get with that is that with Layla, when I wrote her, because the one I had most control was with Layla, Tanner, and Ty, which is why I feel like they're the most fleshed out. I also had control over Damien, I guess, in a way, but like I feel like because I had consistency with the twins and Layla, that's why people tend to cater towards Layla the most when it came to the woman. Serenity, so and so, but I feel like you know, Layla usually has the spotlight because the twins are in like every section of the game, honestly. So, Layla, you talked about how she doesn't change herself. So like every time I would watch something, I would always cringe by the fact when a girl would be like, like you're just trying to please a guy, like a pick me essentially, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
She doesn't do that, and I love that about her.
And I'm just like, you know, you can still enjoy feminine things while like being like however you are. And so like, you know, because Serenity is kind of the same, but their contrast, like, it's just more so because Layla has the more supernatural effect that it gives it more of a boost. I think that's why it works more. So like, I think it just hits home more because the supernaturalness of her and the voice. Honestly,
the voice
it's
is
really
perfect. You could not have made a better casting for that. I swear.
Because I was like, because she was the otaku at first, and I was like, I could go with like the cute or energetic voice, but I was like, I heard the voice. I was like, oh heck no, I'm gonna do the opposite. And so I went with her voice. I'm like, I want her. And everyone was like, oh my goodness, that voice. Every time they heard that voice, they're like, I want her. Like, I was just,
she's the one.
Yeah, I was just like, dang, you guys are are really into that voice. So, but I think it's just like,
she's the one.
I think it's also it's like because she's into anime and all that extra stuff, and you guys would think she would try to be like, oh well.
Like, trying way too hard to be likable, which is a put-off. Yeah.
So, but she's just like, oh, like, how you guys doing and whatnot, and all. She's just like, yo, how you do? Like, she's just like, you know,
I like dirty things. What of it?
Yeah.
So,
have you guys read
so
the latest
what?
Have you guys read Popo's Bizarre Adventure? So, that's why it's like so hard to think about how I would use her in the future, because everyone wants to be with her. I'm like, how am I supposed to use her? Because I'm like, do I ship her with someone I was gonna originally ship her with, or should I do something outside the box? I'm like,
that's where you run into the danger of a sequel. Is do you base the sequel based off the choices of the player and have so many branching paths, or do you decide what's canon and roll with it, or just pick a whole people?
No, because generally I did not think she would be like that popular. Like Serenity and Leia are a lot more popular than Arya, and I can understand it because a lot of people think Arya is like a blank canvas, because essentially she is, because you are Arya. And also there's a lot lost in translation, because originally Arya was supposed to be a sociopath, psychopath character. Because I really wanted that like manipulative type of character, because she didn't understand the concept of love. But we couldn't do it with this game because people did not want to write that. So we decided to just go with like the blank canvas. Which kind of came off as her being compulsive, selfish, and needy at times. So like a lot of players were kind of turned off by her attitude. Like for the Damien route, for example, like if Damien picks up the phone, it's like, oh my goodness, Damien picked up the phone, he must not like me. And then she moves on to like, guess I'm gonna go on a date with Ty. It's kind of funny. Like, oh, he can't have a life outside of me. Pick something else.
Yeah, with the way that the game is made, the player is making a choice, but it feels a little goofily exaggerated by how Arya does it, where it's not quite to the level of a Telltale game where the player feels tricked because you choose something that you think is docile and suddenly something violent happens. I want to hand it back to him. Throws it in his face. That's not what I thought the option meant. You tricked me. They will remember
that. What is your thoughts on Arya and Serenity?
Arya and Serenity?
Like, or like, because you said Layla's your favorite. What about Serenity and Arya?
Serenity, I would say Serenity for me is an excellent second choice. I like her outgoingness. I like how sweet she is. I like that she's caring and supportive, even though she's a little pushy, and especially in scenes with Arya, trying to get Arya out outside of her comfort zone, like getting her to interact with Silver against her will a little bit to kick off another route entirely.
I mean,
It's like, I didn't know it's gonna take me on a different route. Stop it. Put it back on Damien.
Wait, no. Arya's the one who pushes Serenity out in that scenario, I think, because Arya taps on Silver's shoulder. Right. Yeah, so it kind of goes both ways with them.
Kind of goes both ways, which is why it doesn't bug me as much, because they kind of pick on each other in that way. Kind of like guys do.
Yeah.
Like, just go talk to her, man, and just kind of shoves them that way, or against their will initiates the interaction by doing something stupid, like, it's all you now, bro. I didn't do this. But yeah, Arya and Serenity, they have a great almost broship in that sense.
Yeah, well, because one of my main focus was, aside from the romance, was building the characters and the girl relationship, because the bromance couldn't be developed aside from Boys Night Out, but we had to scrap it entirely, essentially. So, like,
I'm so sad. Some of my best work was in Bros Night Out. I'm so sad.
Maybe we'll see in the future. Who knows? But,
I got to act drunk, and it was great.
But what? How come Serenity doesn't go above Layla?
Let's see. I think it's just because I really like Layla's voice. That's a big thing for me. I find her voice very soothing, as you can tell, because I keep talking about it. But I wish I could put this into words, but it's a lot of just how Layla carries herself and interacts with other people in a way that feels unbiased or I don't want to say unprejudiced, but kind of unprejudiced. She doesn't seem to make too many assumptions about you when she begins her interaction with you. Serenity immediately thinks Silver sucks in a way.
It's
not really bad. It borders on yandere a little bit with Silver, but not quite. I might be stretching that definition a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if yandere is. I think tsundere is more like it.
I'm sorry. Yes, I used the wrong dere. I apologize. Yeah. It borders on tsundere, and she kind of likes Silver, but kind of doesn't want to, so she acts like she doesn't like him at all. But it feels like Serenity puts on a lot of front with some people, almost like she's not in touch with how she's feeling. She doesn't have that emotional intelligence to know why she feels what she feels and look deeply in that. And that, to me, is a sign of I should be very careful with what I do and say around this person, because I don't know how they're going to respond to it. Layla, I feel, is more emotionally intelligent in that she has feelings, generally knows why she feels what she feels, and can find ways to regulate herself and address it in a mature fashion. I don't get that as strongly with Serenity.
You know why I think that is? Because it's funny that you say that. I think it's because the two basically have a similar kind of backstory. So, Layla and Serenity were both essentially overweight. And so Layla is more of the tone type. So, like, okay, so this was expanding one of the routes. So Serenity was overweight, and so she worked out to lose the weight. She knew Damien in high school. So like with that, she probably didn't have a lot of friends. Like, this wasn't fleshed out because of writing and whatnot. So she didn't have a lot of friends, and like she was very cautious and whatnot. And so she's always cautious on people and whatnot. While Layla probably had the same experience, but she decided to still be herself, while Serenity is always like, oh, but I remember what it was like when I was dealing with it in the past, so Serenity more has like always thinks about the past while Layla just keeps moving forward type of mentality.
Carrying that trauma.
Yeah, so it's not something that we were able to expand on, but it's like Serenity still was able to like move in her own type of way, but there's something she's unable to recognize. And it's like, I wish we could have expanded more on that character or part of that character, but since Arya is the main character, we weren't. But it's something that is like only like I would be able to realize because like it was lost in writing. But it's funny how you say that because like some people like Serenity, some people like Layla more. Arya is just kind of just like the blank canvas, so it's just like if you like yourself more, like being the selfish person, you're gonna like Arya more. So, but yeah, it's just like the voice really does make it for some people. Like the Layla voice is the Layla voice.
It matches the character so well and is so well delivered. I just cannot ignore how good.
Honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, "That's Layla." Like
that's Layla.
Honestly, when a lot of these voice actors, when I heard Davey, I was like, "That's Damien." When I heard Ethan, I was like, "That's Ethan right there."
Me, I'm second choice.
Nah, okay.
I am desperate last-ditch effort to fill the role.
Okay, but you weren't the only one like that. Serenity was the third person. Michelangelo was the second person. They're aware of this. Like,
I was asked.
The other voice actor, you just heard a snippet of him.
I did. I can see why you picked that guy. And I'm so sorry for your loss, because he nailed it.
You know what? You just need a few more years of practice.
I just need a few more years of age for my voice to deepen, to sound like the Giga Chad that I was always meant to be.
How many more years?
I don't know. My birthday is sometime this year.
Maybe 5 years from now. The sequel.
Maybe 5 years from now, in the sequel, I will finally have achieved the voice of that guy. And I can finally be at that level. The voice you deserve.
What do you think differs from the voice that you heard?
His definitely sounds way more mature. If you put stubble on Tanner, that would be him. If you give him about 5 years of age, that would be him. I sound like freshman Tanner. That guy sounds like senior Tanner. But he's good.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I am senior in high school. He is senior in college.
You play high school Tanner. He's just college Tanner.
I'm high school Tanner. He's college Tanner in the sequel.
Arya's choice was actually all during high school.
Ignore the bar scene.
You guys had fake IDs.
Fake ID. Papa Giorgio.
You just reminded me how the bar scene. We're like, what about Layla? They're like, ignore it. She just gets.
Yeah.
They're just like, wait, but what about like shh. No questions asked. They literally just let Layla go through. They're like, don't you need to see IDs? And they're like, I guess not with Layla.
Real recognizes real. She gets a pass.
She literally gets a pass at everything in this game, honestly.
She does. It goes to show, if you're generally kind to people, you can get a pass for a lot of stuff.
Do you think it was kindness or confidence that got her to pass?
Yes.
You're just like, yes. No, it was just the voice. It was the voice all along.
It was the voice. The right voice will get you anywhere. Look at Jeff Shaw, a comedian where his entire act is based around the fact that he sounds like a woman, and he owns it. Jeff Shaw was great. I got to catch a couple of his shows. He was pretty good.
Oh my goodness. There's this one one comedian I think called Preacher Lawrence. I think his name is. He's like, I'm not a preacher, but
I haven't heard of him. I'm not gonna put him on the list now.
he was an American, not American Idol. He was, I think maybe, I don't know. He was really funny. I got to see him for free from my school one year, and it was very funny. I would recommend it, at least watching him once. I also got to see this comedian, and he recognized me one time because from my school. I'm sorry, just remembering this kind of loses me back into the game. I had to record the show, and he's like, "What are you doing, Ninja Turtle?" Because I had to wear a green bandana. If you don't know this, I had talked to them the other day, and I told him Michelangelo was actually based off of the turtle, not the artist.
I figured. Oh, that's beautiful.
How did you figure it out that Michelangelo was based off of the turtle?
It was just, the artist feels too on the nose. It's gotta be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
because
It's gotta be.
because a lot of the characters were based off of the Love and Deep Space, and Raphael was the artist. But like,
Yeah.
Dan was like, "Yeah, I really like Michelangelo. Was so into art," and I was just like, "You know what else he's into?" And I should have said pizza to give him the indicator of the turtle. But like, he's like, "Oh, is that why he has all the orange?" I was like, "Yeah. Do you also see the green and stuff?" But it was just like, it was so funny just thinking about that because I never told him the story about the time the dude just called me a Ninja Turtle because I had the.
Then let me let you know a little secret. Cowabunga, dude.
Michelangelo just says, "My next piece, cowabunga."
My next piece, Cowabunga. Such exquisite strokes.
Yeah.
Oh, this masterpiece.
Like if he's like if there's ever like a fandom for this game, he's like, I wish that is one of the wiki facts is not based off of the artist but the turtle. What is your what is your inner head canon that has not been canonized?
Okay, if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to pick the one that he's a cultural Christian. That is to say, he was probably raised in a Christian household, right? But hasn't completely bought into the faith, where he's raised a certain way and retains certain mannerisms like avoiding swear words or generally be kind because that was just what his parents told him to do. So he'll follow certain Christian values and guidelines without realizing that they're Christian, or he will pray before a meal as a perfunctory thing without giving it much weight. Or that old saying of go to the bar on Sunday, or just go to the bar on Saturday, go to church on Sunday. Cultural Christianity, where you're not really buying into the faith, but you're doing the perfunctory traditional things. And I could see that with him because generally he tries to be nice with people. He seems to avoid foul language. But the other side of that being that he's a little carnal in the fact that he just wants to get at that, especially in Boys Night Out, which was not part of the game. But yeah, I think in short, one headcanon that I can think of that has not been canonized is that he's a cultural Christian, but not a devout Christian.
It's funny that you say that, because he doesn't wear any of the crosses. Meanwhile, like, the ones who do is like Michelangelo and Serenity, but you're the one who has that hand cannon that he is. So, what makes you think that?
It's just the way that he conducts himself is that he generally follows all the tenets of being kind to others, generally, but still has worldly desires such as the women that kind of bleed through his personality a little bit. And I think I feel that way because that was basically me in high school. Yet another way that I relate to Tanner. Basically in high school is just perfunctory, pray before a meal, go to church on Sunday, give thanks to God. As soon as that's over, right back to being a worldly dude, buddy. Let's go find some tail. But
You say this, and then like one of the outtakes is "Get away from me, you harlot."
yeah, that's me now. Get away from me, you harlot! I am a child of God.
I don't know why we even did that take, but that was a funny take that we did.
That was great. You just sent me stuff and said, "Record these, please." Like, alrighty, let's record them. I think it might be me projecting a little bit onto Tanner, kind of like the players meant to project onto Arya a little bit, but this is what I choose to believe.
Do you think?
You asked and I answered.
Do you think Ty would be the same then?
Given that they were both raised in the same household, I presume, I would say, yeah, it could be very much the same for Ty as it is for Tanner.
If Arya managed to romance Tanner, how do you think she would have done it since Tanner was so in love with Layla?
There are quite a few ways that you could have done that. I think one of them is that if you were on the Tanner route, kind of like some other routes like Silver's route, is that you don't really know that you're picking the Silver route until you've tapped on Silver's shoulder and suddenly you're in Silver's route. Where spending time with Tanner and kind of being his wingman or his supportive shoulder in helping him go for Layla, he will realize that he views that Layla is the prize, but that Layla doesn't give him what he needs in the pyramid of the human need. But he's finding that in Arya through their talks together of helping him figure out what he's going to do about Layla, and slowly over time he realizes, I'm more in love with the idea of Layla, but Arya cares. My needs are getting met with this girl. I think I'm starting to feel for this girl instead. And come to realize that what he felt for Layla was kind of not really an adrenaline rush, but he was the bacon.
Bacon.
Or she was the bacon. She was the bacon, to go back to that analogy. And that he actually does have feelings for Arya because she is caring, sweet, and shows him attention where Layla kind of is rather oblivious to his advances sometimes. I think that's one way that you could have gone about that.
Do you think Tanner being in love with Layla made sense, or do you not see it? Because you say you relate to the character, but like, do you actually see that making sense? Because you like the character Layla, but do you think that the character Ty would like Layla?
The character Tanner would like Layla?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I keep confusing the twins.
Just want to make sure that I'm answering the right question here. But yeah, I think it does make sense because when it comes, I know we're in college, but I'm thinking in terms of high school because the transition from high school to college can be a little gradual sometimes. When it comes to high school, you need the physical attraction and the initial spark. Then suddenly you call yourself in love. And Tanner, having a similar aesthetic to Layla, would already have the physical attraction. Then you combine that with the initial spark of what happened at the concert, then physical attraction again when they reunite in college, that you have the elements of high school sweetheart or early college sweetheart that makes sense in this context. Whether or not it will last is up to the future to decide, but in the context of this story at the time that it takes place with this age range of characters, yes, I think it absolutely makes sense that Tanner would be attracted to Layla.
Okay, what do you mean by aesthetics, that they have similar aesthetics?
I guess I'm saying more, they have, I'm trying to find the right adjective for this. Not necessarily punk rock, but darker tones, clothing that you would find at a rock concert like 2J's and the Beats.
I just realized what you said.
Yeah. then just the overall. I'm trying to find the right words for this. Their mannerisms and interests align, as in, I'm sure they both like anime. I'm sure they both like rock and roll.
Mhm.
They share commonalities in interests that would help drive that initial attraction and fuel that spark. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Since Serenity had a chance to date Tanner, do you think they made sense as a couple?
I think out of anyone else, besides Layla, anyone else in the female cast, Serenity would make the most sense. Because we don't see a lot of interaction between Tanner and Arya besides the dance at Damien's. That's kind of the only direct interaction I can think of, is basically Tanner said, "Wow, you suck at dancing." That scene was more Arya is trying to wait for Damien to show up. So like, the main interaction is, I'm sad that my brother is getting all the attention with Layla. May I have this dance? You are my second choice, like I am for Tanner. And basically, like, wow, you're really bad at this. I think we already established that, yes. Anyway, I feel a little better at least. Thank you for the dance, Miss Arya. And that's kind of the only direct interaction that comes to mind at any route. At least the direct one-on-one interaction in any route. So Arya and Tanner don't get a lot of one-on-one interaction. For Serenity, we've got that much more than we did Arya. Then Layla, we get the most.
What do you think the dynamic between Tanner and Serenity is?
Dynamic between Tanner and Serenity. Can you give me some examples of a dynamic?
So, you know how Serenity and Silver are enemies to Lover?
Yes.
And I guess Layla and Tanner, I guess, would they be like the lovebird couple? What would they be once they get together?
Layla and Tanner is kind of like, I see you as a brother, and now I see you as a lover.
Okay. That's
like a transition from a little weird the way I put that, but
yeah.
largely it did feel like Layla saw Tanner and Ty as kind of like siblings, just one of the guys, and it became something more once Tanner confessed. But dynamic, I need to look up some ideas of dynamics because I can't find a label to put onto this that makes sense. I'm not tsundere, not a yandere relationship, not a dere relationship. I can't think of a dere that would fit this. Do you have an answer for that?
Because Serenity calls Tanner out. It's like, oh, look at you calling Layla your mommy. Do you want to call me mommy instead? Like, she's very playful towards him.
Like the older sister that'll noogie him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
I guess older sister, younger brother, but like a watered down version. Not as close as siblings, but Serenity kind of looks at Tanner with kind of a, oh, you immature young man, kind of.
Like mature woman, immature man type.
Kinda. It's like, you are very boyish, and you are not acting like a man. You are not acting like a gentleman, sir. You are immature in your ways, and I know better.
Oh my goodness, bruh. What do you think Tanner's biggest character flaw was?
Tanner's biggest character flaw, I think, is emotional immaturity. Gosh, I had a very good answer for this when I recorded an answer for your questionnaire earlier. I think I gave like a 4-minute answer on this, but it was the emotional immaturity of he doesn't really know why he feels what he feels, he gets a little bit upset on impulse, especially when Damien starts interacting with Layla at the bar and Michelangelo's route, and he's like, "No!" And
I remember that.
yeah, he
You must
gets
have loved recording that. You're like,
no. He has knee-jerk reactions and thoughts, but not knee-jerk actions. So he has some restraint in that. Is that he'll get upset very quickly when someone's messing with his woman, but he's not going to go fight the man over it. So he has some restraint. But I would say in some ways, especially in that way, he has a lot of immaturity he needs to iron out before he's ready for post-college life, I think.
No.
But yeah, if I'm gonna give a character flaw, it's immaturity, but I can tell that he is definitely in the process of change, and by the end of Ty's route, I think he's matured a lot more than he did at the beginning. And a lot of, especially when he concedes to Ty and says, "I'm very happy for you," I feel like that is a point of maturity for him. And that's where I can start to see some character growth in that flaw. It's not fixed, but it's better. And that, to me, is why I like the two themes for Tanner's, because I like Tanner 1 for when he arrives, he's a little spunky, he's immature. But then when he starts to show signs of character growth, it would play Tanner theme number 2, which has a slower startup. So to me, if I'm going to give another headcanon, which is totally unrelated, that would be one point when he concedes to Ty over Layla, that Tanner theme number 2 would play, marking that he's grown as a person a little bit.
What? Oh my god. No, with your chest. Did you have so much?
No!
Did you have so much fun recording that specifically?
If I'm gonna, to be honest, I played a lot of Resident Evil 5 as a kid, especially with my dad. And there's a scene near the end where Chris Redfield, you have to wait for a QTE, and if you miss this QTE, it's instant death. I hate that. But there's a very long segment of cutscene where you're probably going to put down your controller, and you have to press both triggers at the same time to rescue Sheva before it's game over. And when you do that, it's just, no! He lets go with the beam, grabs another beam, grabs Sheva's hand. It's like, I think I can use something similar to that for this, but tone it down where it's not life or death. It's just dejected anger in the corner. Just, no!
Okay, so okay. Sequel theory, right?
Sure.
If okay, I have a goofy one and like two realistic one. And a what if it's so goofy to even say out loud. Ty and Tanner got married. They both had their prospective woman, right? And both their wives. One is Layla, one is whoever, right? They both had twins that look exactly like Ty and Tanner. And they're like, well, who's who? And they don't know what happened because they all got drunk. They don't know what happened that night. So they don't even know whose kid is.
What's
your thought on that?
I don't know how you would make a story out of them. You definitely would not be choice-based.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't make a whole story out of that, but like, what is your thoughts on that? Is like something that
Layla's poor decisions.
Is this like
Tanner's bad choice.
Like it would be like, because it's either one of two ways. They were both married, or one of them was married to Layla, but they don't know whose the father is because they were all drunk that night.
Oh no, the trio got together, they all got wasted!
Yeah.
No.
It's like, I don't know if that would work. So I was just like, that's why there probably should be another girl in the mix, but
It really depends if you want to give it a serious tone or a silly tone.
A silly
on
tone.
What you're going to title that.
it would be a silly tone. Like, so that's what I'm saying. It's just like, what would be your thoughts on that? It's just like,
Like swapping Hawkins.
exactly. Swapping Hawkins. That's all. Oh my god. What is your thoughts on that? It's just like, it's just like, what, you guys have kids? We don't talk about that night.
That could read like a fanfic.
It's like, oh, what a scenario. We don't talk about that night.
We don't talk about that night.
Okay, and the real scenario is like, okay, let's say hypothetically 5 years from now. Let's say Layla's choice was that she did actually end up with Ty. But Ty, you know, he was going to be a professional football player. Ty spends a lot of his time being in football. And although Layla's supportive, Ty's like, he doesn't think he gives her enough time. And Tanner's being the big bro that he is like, hey, you know, you gotta make time for both. Or like, are you willing to sacrifice one over the other? And so like Ty decides to break up with Layla. Do you think, you know, being the trio that they are, Tanner would sweep up and get that girl?
So, that is interesting you bring that up, because I did picture Ty, which is why I would ship Tanner and Layla, on the point that Ty strikes me as he's going to be so focused on playing sports that he's not going to think too much about girls, even though he's in this bet between him and Tanner over Layla, that he's more focused on the sport of the matter and not the girl. So with the girl, he's more focused on sports than he is girls, and if they did get together, he would focus more on the sports, which leads into what you're saying. And I totally could see a story where Ty is going to have to deal with this dilemma of, do I pick the sports? Do I pick the girl? Or do I make a compromise and try to satisfy both aspects of my life? With support from Tanner's older brother advice, which could go silly or serious depending on, do you want Tanner to be extremely inexperienced in this and give some wacky advice? Or do you want him to be sincere and actually give sound advice and be the voice of reason in this story? As for what Tanner would do afterwards, if Ty makes the choice of letting Layla go, I want to believe that Tanner would do the mature thing, let it go, and if Layla decides she wants to, well then Tanner and Ty work it out between each other and decide, yeah, that's fair game, it's her choice now.
Oh, you know she's gonna be swapping Hawkins.
Then it's swapping Hawkins, baby!
But I'm saying, like, do you think that would be a more compelling story if, because, you know, you could have it where Layla and Ty do the end game, but at the same time, you just mentioned what I was just thinking. It's just like, Ty probably did it for the sport of it, but then, you know, ultimately he has to focus on his sports. But then Tanner, he was always in it for the long run. Like, he actually did like Layla for Layla.
Right.
So, but I feel like it would give him more depth if he didn't end up with Layla at first. So,
yeah, I could see that angle. If Damien's route was canonical for this, and you had a very serious story where Ty did have to come to terms with this and make a decision, I think, A, very compelling narrative because a lot of people can relate to this, and B, it would give Tanner and Layla a lot more depth if they ended up together after this ordeal and they all come to mature from this life experience.
now let's say, I don't even remember which route is canon, but let's say it was like, at some point, Layla and Ty had already broken up, and they had already ended up together, Tana and Layla. Do you think it would be like you would want to know how they broke up, Ty and Layla? Because I feel like it would be a clean breakup. But do you feel like it would be like such a cop out to not know what, or to experience what happened?
I could definitely see it being a mutual breakup on good terms.
Mm-hmm.
I've had one of those and it was very uneventful. She's like, okay, that's cool. We went our separate ways.
Yeah, because Layla's just that girl. She's like, okay.
Yeah. Like, okay. Yeah, I understand. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can relate to that, but I think you can cover that in backstory if it's that uneventful of an event.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something a little bit more to that, I think you would probably need to show that. If not very early on, then with some sort of respect for the matter, because it would be a pretty pertinent plot point.
Mm. If you were the player, how would you want it to go down? At least for like Tanner's development.
So you're talking about the breakup between Ty and Layla?
Or like your end goal between the three of them.
My angle.
Yeah.
The pitch as in how Layla would end up with Tanner after breaking up with Ty?
Or like what would you want for Tanner overall?
Oh, what would I want for Tanner overall? I want him to mature as a young man.
Okay. Well,
But
would he be with Layla or with someone else?
so for my perspective, I think Layla is a good choice, but he does need to realize what the commitment means and not just chase the bacon. So
Okay.
in order for that to be a stronger relationship, I think deferring that to a later point in life, like Layla and Ty coming to terms in this hypothetical sequel that you talk about,
Mhm.
would say 5 years in the future, like you said, that would lend more credence and depth to the sincerity with the relationship between Tanner and Layla if it happened that way. The way that it happens in Arya's Choice kind of feels like a high school spark sometimes. And those are they do work sometimes, but a lot of times it's attraction without hashing out all the compatibility.
Mm.
But when that commitment and unity happens later in life, generally it's built more on mutual trust, love, and understanding than it is hormonal spark.
What if there's cheating involved?
Let me think about that. What do you think? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Personally, I wouldn't do it because I don't like the thought of it. But I know some people like it. But for me, I think in this scenario, I would write it like, okay, let's say in this hypothetical, 5 years from now, I would have it like, the group, Layla, Ty, Tanner, right? You often see Ty busy with football or whatever, and Ty's like, oh dang, I think I forgot something I had to do for Layla, and Tanner's like, don't worry, I'll cover you or something like that. And you notice there's a pattern, like Tanner's always having it covered, and
Yeah.
Ty comes into the realization, it's like, why do you always have this covered? Like he's his big bro, but at the same time, like, he's doing everything for his girl. And it's just like, do you love Layla? Like, cause it's like, I know you love me, bro, but at the same time, it's like, maybe I wasn't the one who was meant to be with Layla. Like, maybe it was you, and I just got in the way. And so,
And at
like,
that point, yeah, sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
And so then Layla's like, and then he probably has a conversation with Layla. It's like, Layla, how do you feel about being with Tanner, right? And Layla doesn't really give it thought because, you know, she always hangs out with just like the three of them all the time. Like their dynamic hasn't really changed. Aside from them like just going out sometimes by themselves, but like she does give it thought and realize like it's usually Tanner who's always there with her instead of Ty because Ty's busy, and she understood Ty is busy because of sports because that's what she wants for him too. And then, you know, Ty and Layla would break it off, and Layla would probably just be like, you know, Tanner, would you be okay if we took it slow though? And then like something would develop from there.
Yeah, I can see that, but you want to avoid the situation where it's kind of like, let's put the dog between us and let it choose who it wants to go to, because that kind of removes a lot of agency from Layla in that scenario, where in Stormlight Archive, the book that I was talking about earlier, there is a scenario where someone says, basically, I'm going to step down and let him have you, and the girl's like, so I'm just a thing? I have no choice in the matter? I pick neither of you. Yeah, you would want to avoid that, and I think what you're saying there is kind of getting Layla to think about it and let her make the choice without anyone trying to force her to make a choice, which I think is a much better way of going about it. Because some people do write that way, and it just comes across as wrong.
Yeah, so it's just, yeah, like, you know, like she has to actually reflect, like, it's just like, you know, he can't just give her to his brother. Like, she gotta actually be like, do I want to be with him or do I want to be with him? So like, it's gotta be like, you know, mutual thing. But like, it's just like Tanner likes Layla, but it's like, I mean, Ty likes Layla, but like Tanner loves Layla. Like, it's something like the spark. Ty had the spark, but Tanner had the commitment type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like it was not something that they could all understand in college, essentially. I guess so, especially with like, I guess like, you know, Layla having no experience, so that's why I was just like, I would want to give it a lot of treatment, but at the same time, it's like, how would I go about with that? So
I like where you're headed with that, because that is a pretty good sequel to have based around the trio. I would lean into that. You should refine that.
and then I have two more questions before I let you go. Was Tanner the best big bro to Ty? If not, why?
Yes and no, because I'm trying to remember also what I said about this. It was no, because there are times where he's picking the girl over his bro. Then there are times where he comes to terms with, you and I are always going to be brothers forever, and I should not let this girl get between us. So it teeters on where are his hormones and where is his head at the moment. I keep saying hormones because I keep thinking in terms of high school relationship. But yeah, there were times where he's like, I'm gonna beat you in this thing of getting the girl who I see as a prize. Then there are times like at the end of Damien's route where he concedes to Ty, and it's like, yeah, you know what? You and I, we're always going to be brothers forever. It is my job as the big brother to make sure that nothing bad happens to you. And she loves you, bro. We're good. So, yes and no. It depends on the scene. It depends on the route. Towards the beginning, no. Towards the end, generally, yes. And especially in the sequel that you were talking about, where he's always covering for Ty, even though it's more kind of for a Layla thing, Tanner does have it in him to be a really good big brother.
Yeah, no. I know when it came to that, I was always trying to figure out a way, because it was always glossed over. So I was always trying to have to add that type of dynamic. I was like, bro, where's this dynamic at? And And so I kept adding those tiny bits. Like I know in the did you play the route where the love triangle where neither of the guys end up with Layla?
I forget which route that was.
I think it's where Silver ends up with Layla.
My memory's a little spotty on that. If I played that one, then it was very early in development.
So like they were
I
all
gotta repeat all the routes. Dad, come here. We gotta play a game.
exactly. That's what you're gonna do next time. Play through all of them with the voice
I gotta
acting.
play all of them with my dad.
With on itch.io for free. Artist choice. Like,
Do what JJBEATS did with Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Like, voice of Claude plays Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Exactly. Voice of Tanner. Be like, who's this?
Every title was voice of Claude.
Will it work?
Will it work? Probably not.
No. What are your final? Well, actually, before that one, if Tanner could be the main character, would you want like a Layla route dedicated to him, or him to have like special characters that he could rope?
Basically, what I want the Layla relationship to be the only possible ending.
No, he would have like, let's say he could have 3.
Yeah.
And then like a secret ending for Layla. Would you want that just to develop more Tanner?
I do think exploring different romance options would give some more depth to the character of Tanner and what he does and doesn't like, or what he is compatible and isn't compatible with. And I think one way that you could do that is in every route, you will learn that there is something about the choices that does not compute with him. Something does not click, it is incompatible with him, but in a different way. So when you eventually get to the Layla route, it lends more credence to the idea that they are perfect for each other. As in, you can pick any of the other girls, but something is going to be off.
I see. So Layla would be his final girl.
Final girl.
The final girl.
Make it canonical.
And then
in my unofficial headcanon.
my unofficial headcanon. Tanner is a Christian who's in love with Layla.
He's a Christian who's in love with Layla.
Oh my goodness, we were like canceled. What is your final thoughts on Tanner overall, and what you want to see out of him? If you could see more of him, anime version, perhaps.
Anime version.
Yeah.
So Tanner, I think Tanner is a tremendous supporting character in that he doesn't overstay his welcome. In every route he's in, he's there for as long as he needs to be, then kindly bugs off. So Damien route, he shows up for the dance, and the whole scene is not focused on him, it's focused on Arya waiting on Damien to show up. Then when Tanner has served his purpose of establishing that Arya is waiting for Damien, he kindly leaves the scene and shows up later at the beach when he concedes to Ty. Michelangelo's route, he's there at the bar. You can see him getting upset when Damien's interacting with Layla. And that lends itself to showing that Ty is interested in Layla too. So it's not just Damien in that scene. Then Tanner promptly leaves the scene. He doesn't overstay his welcome. And let's see, what else did he do? Yeah, when he showed up with Layla and Ty and Damien's route, said, heck yeah, and went to go get McDonald's ice cream. Gosh, that was the very first line I recorded. Just, heck yeah!
That's literally the only line you remember. Like, yeah!
Heck yeah! Or like, sweet, I'm Tanner. I love that. But, yeah, I suppose to say he's a great supporting character, there are examples of supporting characters that should not be main characters, like Patrick Star. Patrick Star should be a supporting character, should not be the focus, and when he becomes the focus, it flops. Planet Sheen from Jimmy Neutron, when he became the focus and not the supporting character, it went downhill. Some characters should not be the focus. I think Tanner could, but I appreciate that he doesn't, because he's never a focus, and that just suits his role best. He never overstays his welcome. He doesn't feel like he's shoehorned into any scene. He's there for his established point and nothing more.
Yeah, because I know someone said that because Ty and Tanner are twins, they feel like Ty fill in that purpose, so Tanner doesn't really need to be a route. And plus, it also gives Tanner the look that he's kind of overshadowed. That, you know, Ty is like kind of the golden child with, you know, golden retriever and golden hair. So like, it's like, you know, it's like, yeah.
I'm the second choice to voice the second choice.
It kind of works.
This character was so insignificant. We got this random guy to pick it up because we needed to meet a deadline.
So it kind of fits everything. This man is.
I relate to this man. I love him. He's literally me.
And he's me. He's so overshadowed.
Oh wait, that's me.
And then you get your own side story, your own sequel or whatever.
Oh, that'll be the day.
The day you'll be like, oh my goodness, now I just gotta fund the whole project. Lol. Imagine. Imagine you're like, we got the story, how are you gonna fund it?
No, I'd be interesting to see how that would develop.
That'd be kind of funny though. You're like, oh my goodness, it's me again. How are we gonna get the voices in? We can't. Oh.
We can't. Oh.
Oh.
We have to get a second choice to replace the second choice.
No, we just gotta get people to actually do the voices, put the voices in. Be like, can you do sound mixing? No. Oh, no voices.
I mean, yeah, if anyone is going to get a side story, I think Tanner would be a good choice because we see the least of him. But
And
we don't really get Michelangelo too. Yeah, absolutely. Michelangelo and Tanner, absolutely. That could be a good duo for a side story. Because I'm a side character in my own route. I love that.
It's so funny because for people who don't know, well, basically everyone, the person you talk to in the side in the story is Michelangelo.
Yeah.
He's a side character in his own story. That's kind of funny. The people who were cast second are the people who are in the
second choices. Second choices.
The story about the second choices.
The story of I don't even know if I should finish that.
Second choices matter.
Second choices matter. I am number 2, and I am still on the podium.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Just so much passion went into this project of seeing the art direction, the music design, the stage design, the writing. So much work went into this. I gotta give major props to Mr. Kumar, the programming fellow, because he put in a lot of work. But even the cast did a great job too. It's so much came together to make this, and there were a lot of points, especially in recording, where I was worried about being the weak link in the presentation. But I still got to be here, even if I'm the second choice.
Yeah, you're not the weakest link. Right. You're not the weakest link. You're just the second link.
I'm just the second link. I'm the replacement link because the weakest link broke. Let's hope I don't break too. But I'm very honored to be a part of this project, to see it grow, be in it, and to be able to see it from almost cradle to grave. It's been a wild ride over the last year, and I'm so glad that this could be among the first things that I auditioned for, as well as got to be a part of. This is cool stuff.
Honestly, yeah. Like, although I was so frustrated when this was being made, looking back and actually seeing that this is up on the store, it's so funny to actually play the game. Like, even though I'm not a visual novel lover, it's so funny hearing everyone voice this. Like, hearing Serenity's like, that's big meow meow energy. I was like, who can actually say that without laughing? It's just like, it's giving meow meow. Like, I was just like, excuse me. And I was just like, there's so many more other funny dialogues that you be saying, like, once to pass the shrimp, I want to do the shrimp toss. I was just like, oh my goodness, like that one really, and then you're just like the villain's like, I'm gonna shoot you. It's just like...
that was the thing. Because when I was going through the script looking for extras and unnamed roles, I find like the milkman's like, "Does anyone want to buy some good old fashioned milk? Only $2.99." And I would do like 5 different voices for every extra role I could find, and to find that they used that one for the chef of all the other ones I did. Oh, it's so great.
Oh my god.
And then I was asked to cover for the gunman last minute. So like, okay, gunman, real quick, bam, there you go. And I did a whole bunch of retakes. And I handed them off to Mr. Kumar when he said he was going to do the second round of filling in for misreads.
Because you mentioned, and this is something your mom told you wanted to. How do you think your mom would react knowing that you were a part of this project?
Oh, that is an excellent question. I think that she would be proud that I tried it and stuck with it for this long, because like when I started when I did the audition for Artist Choice, I had my old Samsung Galaxy, easy voice recording app, and a pair of Astro A40s wired with a 3.5mm jack in my bathroom. So it sounded like I was recording from a high school gym. So that was when I did my auditions for Silver Sterling and all the other auditions I did at that time, because I was just peppering them out. When I got asked to do extras, I moved it to my car. So when I was asked to do something specific, like the frat bro that I don't think made it into the game, but I was a frat boy that climbed into a tree and fell out.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was supposed to be the guy on the ground cheering. Mom's like, "Yeah, brother, no pain, no gain." And I was supposed to be also the guy in the tree. Like, "Yeah, bro," and fall out of the tree. I think I broke something. Someone call an ambulance. And I would go ride my bike for like 40 minutes, get my heart rate up, get the adrenaline pumping. Before I would get my heart rate down, I would grab my phone, grab my A40s, jump in my car, and just start making frat boy noises while I still had the energy going. So moving from that to my dad helped me set up. I had some old soundproofing foam that I never used and some poster board from high school from years ago that I never used. I taped the foam to the poster board, set it up to stand on a table, tied it together with shoelaces because I had extra shoelaces for whatever reason, and sat that on my kitchen table. So my kitchen table was half where I would eat and half big cardboard poster board with a bed sheet draped over it. So I would still have my A40s, but I would stick my head into this box and speak in the box, so I wouldn't have this humongous echo. Until I raised my voice, you could still hear the echo. Then later, I built my PCB booth. My dad was a big help with that. I got to use all of his tools for that. When I made the PCB booth and I got all the moving blankets and I bought an actual external USB mic because I don't have the budget for an XLR, that was when I was asked to cover for Ethan. I'm sorry, Tanner, because I was about to do Ethan and he said, "I'm sorry, I meant Tanner." So that was the setup I had when I started doing Tanner after doing all the extras. And I think Mom would be proud in how I found something that I liked, I stuck with it, I didn't give up, and that I didn't let it consume me in overtaking my professional career, my studies, my other obligations, I didn't let it consume me, but I stuck with the tenet that I would not accept a role if it required swearing, or if it did have swearing in the script, I would ask if I could skirt around that with euphemisms, because that was something that I was working on with her. Because high school, something about when I turned 16, I started swearing. Never swore at all until about 16, and I think it gradually worked into my vocabulary from hanging out with a bunch of guys. And it's like I need to stop swearing around mom. So every time I would record, I would think about mom. It's like she would not want me to use this kind of language. And actually, I don't really want to go on record using this kind of language. So I'm just going to, because this is all unpaid work, pick and choose which ones I want to do based on the amount of vulgarity that it has. And this was thankfully one project where I did not have to do that.
No vulgarity for the win!
They're the win! I miss mom. I wouldn't be here without her. I wouldn't have started doing this without her, and I think she would be pleased to see where it led.
Oh, I appreciate your time, and I hope your dad enjoys this game as well, and I hope to see you.
I don't think he has a choice now.
He's gonna see all these videos. I got first cut him down.
A 3.5-hour interview for you. Here you go.
And we still have to do the Thai part too.
Oh yeah, we do.
And the other questions.
Hey.
We only did the Tanner ones.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Whatever you need.
Yeah. I had to do all the editing. Oh, goody me, goody JJ. JJ's all in a row.
Extra pride.
Yay! My prize is editing for 20 views.
Heck yeah!
Heck yeah! Throw me the truth toss or whatever.
You want to do the truth catch?
So yeah, with that being said, this is JJBEATS. Y'all have a good one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.